Hi folks, how you all doing? Hope you're all well. It's James here and got the summer hat on. Been sat in the garden this afternoon trying to maintain an aura of reality as best I can. So yeah, just thought I'd come on and do a quick, hopefully fun video. Just going to show my rock and roll records, my very small collection of 1950s rock and roll albums, and then just invite you to do the same. It's not really a genre which seems to get a lot of love on the vinyl community, not that many people show it. Like I said, I've only got a smallish collection, so I thought I'd whip through mine and then you can show me yours. I'm not going to talk too much about these artists because obviously they're very well known. You know, at some point down the line I might do some spotlight videos and perhaps kind of, you know, talk in more detail, but anyway, so okay, so original rock and roll music, there are some borderline artists, and I'm not going to show those people. So people like Ray Charles, people like Bo Diddley, people like Sam Cooke, I'm going to treat them as being kind of like, you know, blues and soul, even though they did cross over into rock and roll. So anyway, see what you think. Quickly show the CDs first. So in the background, this is quite a good, cool little CD. This is Rock and Roll Instrumentals. It's got all sorts of good things on that. Link Ray is what we just heard now, but it's got, you know, Bill Haley on it and Fats Domino, all sorts. This is quite a cool Sun compilation. That's 3 CDs. I've had that for many years. It's got all sorts of classics on there. This one, 50 rock and roll originals. It's an enjoyable compilation, and I wanted to show this one because I don't think I've got any women in the records I'm going to show, so I thought I'd quickly show that one. That's Brenda Lee, 1956 to 1980, so that contains some of her early rock and roll stuff. So I'll show you what I've got, and that should be nice and straightforward. So I've got this, Chuck Berry's Greatest Hits. This one is on Showcase. There we go. And it contains all the ones that you need really, Sweet Little 16, Carol, Route 66, all the good stuff. I've got 2 records by Fats Domino. So I mean, he's an example of somebody, like I was saying before, you know, I'm not going to show Ray Charles, I'm not going to show Sam Cooke or Bo Diddley, but I mean really, I mean Fats Domino was R&B really, but he was so beloved of the Beatles and the Stones and all those early rock and roll bands that he's often bracketed as rock and roll. This one is on Charlie. Charlie label, very nice. And then I've got this this one for Fats as well. This came from Oxfam Trading, maybe Leeds, many years ago. Blueberry Hill, I Hear You Knocking. Let's look at the label on that one. It's just a UA standard label on there. Can't beat a bit of Fats. First heard about him through Paul McCartney. When Paul McCartney did his, would have been his 1990 comeback tour, he did a version of Ain't That a Shame, and that was the first time I'd ever heard that record. I mean, most of the rock and roll music I know comes from learning about the Beatles. There was an amazing documentary back in the 80s called The Complete Beatles, which was narrated by Malcolm McDowell, and that had a very good prologue section where it talked about all these great rock and roll heroes who the Beatles idolised, and you know, I've not heard of most of those artists really. And the first rock and roll music I ever heard was the Beatles rock and roll music compilation, and that's where I heard a lot of those Beatles versions of those original songs, you know. But this record is actually, it combines Eddie Cochran with Gene Vincent, so there's Eddie there, there's Gene there. This is quite a nice record. This is a Capitol compilation. It comes from Right Track Records. That was a record shop in Leeds from back in the day. I think it was on Hyde Park Corner in Leeds. That's on a lovely purple Capitol. So yeah, Gene and Eddie. This is my Everly Brothers collection. 22 original classics. This one is on, what's this one on? Let's have a look. Janus Records, okay. Quite a few of these records, I've not played them for many years. I'm going to give them a clean up actually and get them on the turntable. You know, so again, you know, the Everlys, the Beatles absolutely idolised them. That's how I found out about them. Jerry Lee, again from Oxfam Trading. This is a double. Let's just show you the great gatefold, which shows you all the entries in the series. This is on London, this one. Let's go in and have a look. Beautiful London label. Sorry, it's a bit bright in here today. So yeah, that's got all the classics on it really. Breathless, Good Golly Miss Molly, Seminole. Then of course You Need Your Little Richard. This is a comp I've had for many years. This is a Charlie one, isn't it? Is it Charlie? This is from Cobb Records. Canberra Sound. What is the label on this one? Canberra. It's not Charlie. A little label. Yeah. Canberra. I was convinced that it was on Charlie for some reason. There we go. That's good actually. There's quite a lot of dodgy Little Richard compilations out there where he's, you know, it's like later re-recordings or live versions, but I think that's pretty solid, that one. Couldn't leave this guy out, the operatic rock and roll singer that was Roy Orbison. This is a beautiful copy of one of his very early albums, might even be his first album, Lonely and Blue, I picked up a while ago. That was in the period before he started wearing his shades. Very handsome guy. I don't know why he decided to put those shades on and hide his eyes away forever after that, but that's on the beautiful purple London label. Inimitable. George Harrison was a big fan of his, and you know, he was so loved. His star fell in America in the 1970s, but he survived on the English pub circuit, well, not the club circuit in England, and that's how he carved out his living for many years before he had that big comeback with the Travelling Wilburys. This is not my only Elvis record. I do have another one, but it's back at my parents' house. I've got a double LP of Elvis, but this is the one that I keep in my collection. I'm not a massive fan of Elvis really. I do like his early stuff, and I like some of his RCA period, but I'm not really a fan of the 1970s Las Vegas incarnation really. Elvis rocks. 14 Golden Greats. There's another record in here. What's that? A record that's presumably lost its... Okay, it's an Everly Brothers record. Mysterious. Anyway, and there's your Elvis. This guy often gets overlooked. Shannon. He was kind of among the first wave of rock and rollers. Of course, his big song was Runaway, Little Town Flirt, Hats Off to Larry. Again, he was absolutely idolised by the Beatles. I think he supported the Beatles, didn't he? On one of their early tours. I think he opened for them. I'm not sure if it was in America or if it was in the UK, but I mean certainly they absolutely loved him. Tragic life. He took his own life in the kind of early 1990s. And then we've got Gene Vincent again. This is a compilation I picked up recently from a charity shop. This one is on MFP. My favourite labels, there we go, the classic label. Gene Vincent, who the Beatles met and worked with in Hamburg just before they broke big. There's quite a famous picture, isn't there, of John Lennon, a leather-clad John Lennon pictured with Gene Vincent. They loved him. And I've come out of sequence, there's just one here, or two here maybe, that I need to show you. I've not taken them out of the thing, so hang on a sec. And then finally we've got my Buddy Holly, so I've got this one. The Best of Buddy Holly, and that's on, look, just in the mood to show the labels today for some reason, don't know why. Hallmark. And then this one, which is an absolutely classic compilation, Buddy Holly Lives, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, 20 Golden Greats, Peggy Sue, That'll Be the Day, Words of Love, etc. Such a seminal artist, you know. Arguably the first rock and roll star to sing his own songs in a big way, which is why he was so influential on the Beatles and the Stones, etc. So, yeah, there we go. That's my rock and roll. Show me yours. See you soon. Take care. Bye bye.